In this video, we're going to be checking out something kind of unique. This is the Jarvisen Translator 2. What this is a dedicated hardware translator that you can use with a variety of languages. Now, they did sponsor this video and send it over for me to go ahead and test out. But in this video, we're going to do a full unboxing, go over the setup, the hardware, and of course, actually test it in some real-world translation situations. Now, just some talking points before we move on to the unboxing, setup, and demo. This supports real-time translation of 108 languages. It's rated at 96% accuracy with a half a second response time, supports both speech and photography for taking pictures of signs and things like that. And if you buy one of these, it ships with 2 years of global mobile data, with of course no subscription fees, with 18 of those languages available for offline translation. And a quick note on the specs, this thing is relatively powerful, has an 8-core processor, 2 GB of RAM, and 16 GB of built-in storage. It does have a camera on the back that we will cover a little bit more at the end of the video, but it is a 5 megapixel camera. The battery capacity is 2000 milliamp hours. It has a gyroscope, an infrared sensor, and it supports 3G and various 4G networks as well as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I'm actually really happy they sent this over to demo because I'm going to have a trip to Taiwan soon, and this is going to be one of the items I have in my pocket for sure. So with that, let's go ahead and unbox the Translator 2. I already peeled off the exterior packaging. Gonna give it a little shimmy shake here and open her up and then see what we got in the box. So first on the front, we got this little welcome thing. It has all the manuals and whatnot in here. So we get our guide and a SIM tool because this thing does have a SIM card in it. Meaning after your 2 years are up, you could probably put your own service's SIM card in it, depending on obviously the service. So going from there, we have the actual device here, and it's really cool. Kind of gives you a tutorial right on it of all the different functionality and buttons. Which you can see at the top, we have our indicator lights, loudspeaker, microphone arrays, power, volume, another volume, and our SIM card slot. So actually looking at it up close on this side here, we have our volume rockers. This right here is our power button. We can see the loudspeaker at the top taking up the entire width of the top. And then on the sides here, we see the little holes for the microphones as well as our SIM card tray. So now that I got an idea of what all the buttons do, let's go ahead and peel this off just like that. Ooh, fresh peel. Oh yeah, on the bottom, of course, we got some USB Type-C for charging. The form factor is interesting. It's definitely pretty thin. It's thin and long. For comparison's sake, this is the Translator, and this is a Samsung Galaxy S3 Ultra, so you can kind of see the size difference there. And then a slightly smaller phone. This right here is a Google Pixel. Why don't we go ahead and fire this thing up, check out the UI and the actual setup process here. So I'm going to hold down the power button, and there it goes. Jarvisen. Let's go ahead and give it a sec to boot up here. There we go. Welcome. So first we are going to pick our default language. For me, I am going to go with English. And then we have some terms and conditions that you could go ahead and read and then agree to if you do. And then you could see it's going to go ahead and access that global network. It says it may take 1 to 3 minutes, so let's go ahead and let that do what it needs to do. Oh, there we go. There we go. Global network card. Free for 2 years. If I go all countries and regions, it does have a rather substantial list of everywhere that it works. If you're interested in all of these, that will be down in the description below. But what I'm going to do is go back here and then let's hit start. All right, swipe up to bring a list of languages. Oh, there they all are. And we can see there the current default is a English to Spanish translation, which is going to be my main form of testing considering my wife is a native Spanish speaker. And then check out this list of all 108 languages that it supports. Hell, sometimes we see here English to UK English. Depending on who you're talking to in the UK, you might actually find this beneficial. Stupid. But yeah, a rather comprehensive list of languages there. If we go ahead and slide that down, it takes us to our home page. Right here, it's telling us that's where we set the translation model. So right down here, if we tap these 3 dots, you can see it brings up some options, including gesture dictation, physical buttons, and offline translation. And when you hit the little eye, you get a tutorial on exactly how these different things work. This one's the gesture one. So this one, after you do a translation and you put it up to another person, it will automatically know what you're trying to do and give you that translation. And then we have the physical button translation, which involves holding down the red button for you to talk, and then you hold down the blue button for somebody else to talk, which that might be better if you're in like a really tight, crowded situation. And right here we have offline translation, so if I tap on that, we can see all the different packages and options to download additional translation packages if you need that. Which for me, that first one there, the offline English to Mandarin, is going to be what I need for the trip that's coming up. And of course we have buttons on the touchscreen that you could use instead of all the other things. Now, additionally, if I go ahead and swipe over, there are some more applications, which really this is a single purpose device, so there's not much else going on. We have operation assistance, records, export, global internet, and settings. So these right here are basically just going to be tutorials on how to use the device. If I go right here, it gives you the option to go ahead and send your previous translations to a computer or something else if that is what you need. And then right here, global internet, that's the same screen we saw earlier, allows you to change the settings in that regard. And then finally, we have our actual settings, including network, display, sound, system, and updates, as well as privacy. Let's actually go ahead and check to make sure there's no updates available for us. And we're on the latest version. Awesome. Additionally, if I go ahead and open this up, you can swipe down. It's very similar to kind of like an Android type interface. If I swipe down from up here, we have some toggles, including Wi-Fi, data, Bluetooth, and then we have our screen brightness, our volume, and links to some of the tutorial stuff. Now, before I'm actually able to test a conversation with my wife, let's just kind of see how this thing works. So it's going to Spanish right now. So, and you can see when I tap it that it does a fairly good job of listing what I'm actually saying. So then it will do the translation once I stop talking. Give that a tap.
Que hace un trabajo bastante bueno al enumerar lo que realmente estoy diciendo, para que luego haga la traducción una vez que deje de hablar.
Pretty cool. One language I have noticed a lot of people who watch the channel speak is from Brazil, Portuguese. So let's go over to that. So I would like to give a big thanks to all the people from Brazil who watch my channel. You guys are awesome and I do appreciate it. I've recently started adding captions in Portuguese to my videos, so I do hope that helps.
Então gostaria de agradecer muito a todas as pessoas do Brasil que assistem meu canal. Vocês são incríveis e eu aprecio isso. Recentemente comecei a adicionar legendas em português aos meus vídeos, então espero que ajude.
So let me know down in the comments if that sounded right. So let's go actually test a conversation with this thing. So this is Miss Hopkins here. She is a native Spanish speaker, and we're going to be testing this out on a conversational basis. This is the conversation we had last time, so I'm just going to hit this red and talk. So how was your day today?
Como foi o teu dia hoje?
Oh, that's Portuguese.
I'm like, that's not Spanish. Mi día estuvo bien. ¿Cómo fue tu día?
My day was good. How was your day?
My day was pretty good. My computer wasn't working for a little bit, and we did some recording, and hopefully after this clip we could go ahead and edit it.
Mi día fue bastante bueno. Mi computadora no funcionó por un tiempo e hicimos algunas grabaciones y, con suerte, después de este clip pudimos seguir adelante y editarlo.
Here's the text of it. Did it screw anything up, or is it all smooth, switched around the phrasing so it was proper and all that?
Yeah.
100%?
Yep. 100%.
Cool. Also, I've been using the touchscreen, but there is a physical button option. So now instead of controlling the volume, these hardware buttons are what is going to control it. So if I hold down the red button, it should repeat what I'm saying currently in Spanish.
Entonces, si mantengo presionado el botón rojo, debería repetir lo que estoy diciendo actualmente en español.
Está funcionando muy bien.
It's working very well.
Nice. So it's working pretty well, but I will need to play around with the actual gesture control a little bit more to figure out the right motions and whatnot to get that to work. But when it comes to conversating and actual translations, at least with Spanish, it's working pretty good. Hey, I'm looking for the red bus line. Do you know where the stop is?
Oye, estoy buscando la línea roja de autobús.
Sí, son 2 calles para allá.
Yes, it's 2 streets that way.
So is that the south line or the north line?
Así que es la línea sur o la línea norte.
Sí, es la línea sur.
Yes, it is the south line.
Okay. So now on to the 5 megapixel camera on the back. By where we live, we have this fantastic kind of suite of businesses that is all kinds of foreign grocery stores, restaurants, businesses, bunch of cool stuff there. So I figured it was a good opportunity to go ahead and test it out. And you can see here when I go ahead and take a picture, it does a little scan animation letting you know that it's trying to translate what it sees. And for the most part, it does pretty good. These were business signs, so if the phrasing's a little weird, it kind of struggles a bit. But for the most part, you can see that it's giving me the information that I need with the translation. I ran into this Eastern European store and tested it out on some things. It did really good translating labels. It kind of struggled a bit translating actual handwritten signs. And then going into a Mexican grocery store, it had pretty good success. With most of the things that I tested it out with, again, it does do its best with those handwritten signs. So that was the Jarvisen Translator 2. If you are interested in purchasing this, do check out the link down below, whether if you need it for business meetings, travel, helping you learn a language, or if you want to use it to go to events or meet up with groups that you normally would have troubles doing. Again, the link to purchase will be down below. Big thanks to Jarvisen for sending this over and sponsoring this, and hope you have a beautiful day, and goodbye.